What up, guys? Chilling. Got a new setup a little bit. I have some extra lighting now, and I have a new tripod. Well, I actually have a new gimbal tripod thing, and then I have a new tripod that is set up right now. So, and I'm still trying to figure out how exactly I want to set it all up, but for now, it'll do. But this thing is so badass. I made a video about it earlier, and it has a little cool, dude. And this little touchscreen remote control to control everything on here and get a video preview of what you're seeing. So that's badass. Gonna make a lot of use out of that, and it's real cool too, because I used to have the older model of that one, but in their app and stuff, they have like so many cool features and templates for getting the most out of that thing. And the stuff that you can do with it is pretty awesome. And they've probably even added new stuff since, because it's been like a year and a half since I've really fully used their gimbals. So, and this is the new model, so it'll be fun to check it out. Oh, dude, that felt so good. Shit. But I just wanted to mention too, there was a podcast. I saw it on Danny Jones first, but it was about this dude that made a documentary of Andrei Puharich, who was this dude like in the 70s involved with scientific experiments of like ELF, extreme low frequencies, and how like waves and signals are interacting with the brain and like all this weird shit. He was kind of like involved with weird psychic phenomenon. He was involved with Uri Geller, the psychic, that worked a lot with CIA, Mossad, all that type of shit, bending spoons, all that stuff. So he had a real weird story and everything, and ended up creating this group cult thing. I mean, not a typical, but it was called Space Kids, because he would go around to conferences and figured out that these frequencies and different waves and stuff could like really alter the human mind. And then it gets into like the space kids these kids would come to him at these conferences and stuff because they already had like natural psychic abilities with all this weird phenomenon. And it started happening so much, so he literally opened up this group and started finding kids that already had these abilities and bringing them all to his house in Austin, Texas. And then it got to the point where he's like, I guess a couple times earlier, years before, a couple different people were channeling this alien entity group of entities called the Nine. And when he started getting all these kids, he would like run a bunch of tests and experiments and stuff on them. And a lot of it was having them channel this group of aliens called the Nine. And it gets into a lot of weird things and a lot of weird areas. But, so he was on the Danny Jones podcast, but the dude that made the documentary was there with his Andrei Puharich's son. And the son, I mean, he's fine, but he doesn't know like a lot of specifics and details about that whole world of everything. So it was kind of I don't know, seemed like a little friction in the conversation and everything. But over on Jesse Michaels, over on American Alchemy with him, he actually did a podcast with just the dude who made the documentary solo, and that dude knows some shit, and it was really interesting. If you're interested in any of that shit, I would suggest checking it out. It was real cool. And that shit is very weird, because a lot of the things, there was so many details, I can't, not only can I not remember everything, but it would take way too long to try to unpack all of it. But a lot of the thing, with a lot of these weird situations, it keeps pointing back to occult type of shit and like MK Ultra mind control type of experiments, and then somehow like alien, UFO, UAP, and psychic, like there's this such a weird intersection even still to today with the alien topic, with psychic phenomenon, with maybe not even, no like proof of solid CIA weird involvement in anything, but a lot of the things that CIA has utilized in the past, right? It kind of overlaps with this whole weird gray area of reality, consciousness, alien, like what the fuck is happening? And I mean, I do actually know to a certain extent what is happening just because of personal experience. But the thing is, too, guys, when I make videos and I get too specific and start telling you like exactly what I think is going on with certain things, the videos get blocked. So, I mean, do I think these mofos are real? Yeah, I do actually. But other than that, I don't think physical aliens are much of a thing. And actually, I think that grays, are kind of just, they're either us from the future through a bunch of weird evolution, but I lean more towards just a biological well, just a body bag that through some weird form consciousness is inhabiting it, you know? And all the other stuff, I think. Well, there's some literal crafts, and I think the crafts themselves are alive. And then everything else is a non-physical type of intelligence. And it's been with humanity for a very long time. And like I'm saying, with when I get into specifics and the videos get blocked, that just gives me more validation for not only the things I know and have experienced myself, but then if it's just bullshit and fun conspiracy talk, why do you even give a shit? Right? But I'm just here, dude. Just chilling. But I guess, too, what I was getting at is, so he did, Andrea Puharich did have like a bunch of space kids, and they were channeling some entity type of thing called the Nine. Other people have done it even before he started doing it with them, but and then it gets into weird, were they? Or were they being led to believe and experience that type of thing? And why? If so. I mean, why even if that wasn't? What are you doing? Very interesting. And I mean, I'm getting so sick of Trump and Congress and I think they're just gonna keep talking shit. Whatever, dude. I'll just stop paying attention, I guess. Right? And actually, almost even more than that, I was watching a thing the other day where Trump was at something, and a reporter or something asked him, what's the most bizarre thing that you have found out during your presidency? And his response was, if I told you the most bizarre thing that I found out, I would probably have to resign and get kicked out in 3 seconds. And he was like, and you would find it very interesting, but I'm not going there. And whatever the fuck he knows and what he was referring to or thinking about when that reporter asked him that actually has nothing to do with aliens specifically. You know? What is it? That, whatever the fuck, probably has to do with reality itself, weird things about what's happening actually in the universe. Probably something with timelines, really. Shit is so bizarre, guys. And actually, I have experienced, it's actually amazing how sane I actually am. If you guys could be in my mind for a lot of the experiences that I have actually had and what I have seen and how malleable this thing that we're all living in, how it seems so solid most of the time, but how it can change in ways that are so disturbing. It's and actually, like, I have experienced it in so many different occasions and scenarios and throughout the years. And sometimes I actually lean into it and I go deep as fuck because I want to find out how much can you change? How much can the world respond to that? And I know I'm not, because it's, I guess what I'm getting at too is I go so deep and I have so many times in the past that I actually sometimes I have to step the fuck back and I have to return to the illusion of base reality so I don't completely get lost in the sauce. But boy, oh boy, things are not. And what's weird too, guys, like, and I hate to bring it up all the time, but, well, I guess I don't bring it up all the time, but I do reiterate this thing a lot, and I'm sorry for that, but it just is what it is, and I guess it's okay to segue into that from what I'm saying right now. And this type of thing that I'm talking about with all these experiences and all this shit, like, is so, there's a reason that I am on the radar, not only of TikTok, but all these platforms, and why, and I'm not trying to have any ego or anything, why my content, a lot of it, is actually so professional and engaging and good and creative and all that type of shit, and then how it really gets suppressed. There's a reason it's not I'm just here. I'm just existing, and I am just trying to figure out this silly world. All right. With that, I think that's enough before I start going down the road of too many thoughts that go to places that thanks for stopping by, guys. It's been a gem. Grizzly Martian out. Peace.